Welcome to this YouTube for Business Masterclass. Today, what I want to talk about is how we made $1 million with YouTube for our business while working on our YouTube channel for less than 1 hour per day. We have a business that builds YouTube channels for clients. We also produce videos for clients. Some of these clients are extremely big, like national television. Some of these clients are smaller, like SMEs or individual, like small one-person companies, coaches, agencies, SaaS, micro SaaS, things like that, right? So it wasn't always as easy, to be honest. Like when we started out, we wanted to sell something different. We wanted to sell a coaching for people that want to get into investment banking and management consulting. I'm a former management consultant at one of the biggest management consulting firms in Europe. So it seemed like a great thing to do. But these videos took a lot of work. This channel took a lot of focus, a lot of work. And it resulted in very little sales. We also tried to switch it up and do faceless videos, where I don't show my face, but also this resulted in even more work because now suddenly you need to coordinate with all these freelancers, you need much better video editing, but also very little sales. And I think we, over the past couple of months and 1 or 2 years, we kind of figured out what works and we came up with our own system. And this is the system that you see here, and that is exactly what I want to talk about during today's workshop. You start with a YouTube master plan, you produce magnet content, how we call it, and then you use conversion systems to turn those eyeballs into sales. And all along this, you use YouTube process automation, YPA, which helps you to actually just spend 1 hour per day on this YouTube channel and still be able to have this constant production pipeline churning out great content on a regular basis, right? And that's we're going to talk about all of these steps today. I'll give you the exact blueprint. There will be no secrets. The only secrets might be things that are highly customizable, right? So there are differences. If you are in industry A versus industry B, there might be small differences in terms of, what your master plan should look like, or obviously what your content should look like. But in terms of the system, I'll give it to you everything. And hopefully at the end of the call, at the end of this workshop, you can start implementing all of this. But first of all, why YouTube? YouTube is first of all massive, right? 2 billion monthly active users, much bigger than TikTok. It's very engaging. You have very high engagement rates on YouTube compared to other social media platforms. And also it's very profitable for creators, which is always a nice thing. We love it when platforms give back to creators because in the end, that creates an ecosystem where everybody can earn money. Now, also YouTube has extremely low customer acquisition costs. If you build a YouTube channel, it will probably be one of your lowest CAC channels ever. And that's because cost for paid ads are going up and up and up and up. And the YouTube algorithm is extremely efficient. If you build a YouTube channel, essentially what you have is a machine that goes out and searches customers for you. Because think about it. What YouTube started doing around, let's say 9 months ago or a year ago, is they started pushing very new YouTube videos and YouTube channels. So whereas at the beginning, let's say 5 years ago, what you needed to do is you needed to build up this trust index. You needed to have a lot of subscribers, and then on your 20th video or your 30th video or 40th video, you were able to go viral, to really reach a lot of people. But then TikTok came along, and TikTok was like, okay, actually, we're just going to evaluate on a video by video basis whether this is a great video, a great TikTok, right? And that's why, in the first months of YouTube, I had many friends and many people that we work with tell me, yeah, we uploaded these TikToks and they just went viral like crazy, right? Obviously, this has changed now because TikTok is completely oversaturated at this point. But what YouTube essentially did was they made their algorithm a little bit more like the TikTok algorithm. So if you upload a great video on a YouTube channel, even if it's a completely new YouTube channel, this first video can go viral. And we have done this a lot of times. I will later show you an example of a video of a YouTube channel where the first video got 500,000 views, the second video got 1 million views. And that's just possible because of the YouTube algorithm and how it works, right? And then essentially what this YouTube algorithm does, if you upload the right kind of content, then the YouTube algorithm finds the right people for this content. And now imagine your content is like a 24/7 sales agent that is working for you, right? This guy never sleeps, is always out there telling the same great story about your company, and the YouTube algorithm just makes sure to direct this person, this salesperson, to the right potential customers. And that's exactly why YouTube is such a great sales and marketing channel. Also, it's authentic company branding. I mean, think about it. There's very few companies that really do YouTube right. Sometimes I look at, there's like companies out there with billion-dollar valuations, and you look at their YouTube channel and you're like, what the fuck, Like, what did they screw up? Why is it so shit? And that just sends a bad symbol. On the contrary, if you have a great YouTube channel, it shows, hey, these guys actually know what they're doing. Plus, I have heard a couple of stories from clients who told me, Kevin, actually, our YouTube channel turns out to be our best recruitment agent. It's like our best employer branding tool, I guess. Because young people, they look at people's YouTube channels. They want to see that, the company is legit, that they are able to tell a cool story. And if a potential applicant, watches your video for 10 minutes, whether it's a talking head video with you in front of the camera or it's a faceless video where it looks more like a documentary, after watching you for 10 minutes, they just have some kind of connection with you, which might lead to them applying, right? But that's just a bonus on top of the great low customer acquisition cost and revenues that a YouTube channel can generate for you. Thirdly, it's also effective community building. Long-form content is absolute king when it comes to engagement. Absolute king, okay? I would say the shittiest thing is posts on like Twitter and LinkedIn. That's just text, right? That builds very low connection. Now, the next best thing might be a newsletter that is longer, and builds a little bit more connection. Then you have pictures, right? Okay, you see some kind of face. Obviously, that can be combined. You can have a newsletter with pictures, or you can post pictures solely on Instagram. Then there's shorts. Then there's podcasts. And the very best thing is long-form videos, because these build as much trust as possible. Imagine someone watches a 20-minute video of you talking about your company versus someone reading a post that takes the person 30 seconds to read, or even just a 30 seconds TikTok video, which they see probably while scrolling on the toilet. Ask yourself, what is building a stronger connection with a prospective customer for your company? Obviously, it's long-form content. And that's why this is a great community building tool, and these communities build trust around your company, which in the end increases your revenues. Now, it's not just me saying that, right? There's so many companies that are starting to focus on videos. Some want to, still do images, but most of them, 94%, say they are going to double down. They're going to invest more into videos. And now let's get right into our system. Let's start with the YouTube master plan, just right after I take another sip of my coffee. Now, if you are an absolute rookie, or you are working with rookies who are selling you some expensive program, okay, then you might have heard about the concept of a niche. And a niche is not so easy to explain. So let me show you with the example of one of our clients. It's a real estate platform. Now, the niche is real estate, right? So if we ask ourselves, what kind of content should this client create? Obviously, the content in his niche, which is real estate. But that's not enough of an answer, because there is literally hundreds of sub-niches in the real estate niche. And just to give you an example, here's 2 niches that we had in their master plan. Location tours and apartment tours. Just 2 different, completely different niches that attract completely different types of audiences. Location tours is where they go to, different cool city, suburbs, areas, and so on, and they look at what kind of real estate is there and what kind of cool sites are there. And apartment tours is where like some kind of real estate agent goes into different apartments and visits them and looks at the design and whatever, right? Those are just 2 examples. Then there's literally 100 more examples of sub-niches in this real estate niche. So it's not always as easy to pick the right niche, right? But we have made choosing the perfect YouTube niche a data-driven science, because we're doing nothing else. And half of our business is actually building YouTube channels for our own portfolio, right? And here, obviously, we can be super broad. Like we could go into the emergency first aid niche. We could talk about the technology niche, and we could talk about the nature niche, right? Because for us, in the end, we just want to build a channel that's going to be big and going to make us a lot of money. But if we're working with you, then you have some kind of business. Let's say you have a budgeting app, right? Some kind of budgeting SaaS. Now, we're not going to build a Christmas channel for you. We're going to build a channel for you that's in the budgeting niche. But again, the budgeting niche is relatively broad. There's different ways how to play this niche. And choosing the right sub-niche is critically important, because only if you do that, you can have successes like this one. This is a completely new channel that we launched. First video, 500,000 views. Second video went up to 1 million views within the next, 1, 2, 3 months. That is just possible with great niche selection. This could have literally been Netflix level content quality, It wouldn't have gone as viral if we wouldn't have done a lot of work in terms of selecting the right positioning, the right niche before starting this channel. So for you, what goes into selecting a niche? Let's stick with this example, right? You are in the finance space. You have some kind of finance product. There's different sub-niches here. And these are just a few, right? It could be like the personal finance niche, the finance guru niche, financial planning, stock explainers. There's also hundreds of channels doing stock explainer videos. There's hundreds of stock guru videos, right? So you need to think about which one of these sub niches fits your company the best and is in the end going to attract the most eyeballs that convert into sales. Because we are not necessarily interested in getting hundreds of millions of views. We're interested in making hundreds of millions of sales, right? Making revenues in the end. And then the second thing that you need to think about is what's the format, right? Because many people just default to talking head videos where there's like me, right? I'm talking to you. But there's so many other ways to play it. And the best way to get big on YouTube is just to avoid competition, to build your own category, right? And so there's options, like you could do a show format, you could do a simple vlog that doesn't take too much time, you could do online interviews, you could do talking head video essays or essays with head, which is basically a mixture of video essays and talking head videos. These are just some popular examples, but there's more. In the end, what it comes down to is you need to think about what sub niche you want to be active in and what's the content format supposed to look like. And this is a decision that, we are not going to take within this workshop, obviously, but it's something that where you can sit down, you can have some thoughts, you can draw down a list of things, of different formats you could imagine, a list of different sub niches that you could get active in, and then list the pros and cons. And if you want to be very scientific about this, what we did is we came up with a niche attractiveness scoring model. So essentially, what I suggest is, because this is such an important decision that you make at the beginning of your YouTube journey, is that you develop some kind of scoring model on how to, essentially you're coming up with a list of different ways on how to position yourself on YouTube, right? And these different ways, you should somehow strive to rank them, somehow score them. And for us, like, we've been doing this for a lot of years, so our scoring model is sufficiently sophisticated. But some of the main factors that should go into this is the content demand and supply ratio. So how much content is there already out there? Like, what's your competition like, essentially? And how can you differentiate yourself from them? For me, a rule of thumb is always, if I go onto YouTube with content, I want to be able to, right off the bat, be one of the top 3 channels in my niche. If I can't be that, I'll not do it. Or I will come up with a new concept that enables me to be that, right? And then I want to be able to be top 1 within the next 6 to 12 months. Okay? We also look at monthly search volume. We do a competition analysis. As I said, can you eventually be top 2, top 1 within 6 to 12 months? What's the required production time? So you also want to look at how much effort is that, right? Because everybody can build a massive YouTube channel. To be honest, it's not very difficult, but it might require a lot of investment, and not everybody is willing to do that, right? So the important thing is, we want to build a big YouTube channel, but we want to build it in as little time as possible with as little monetary investment as possible. So you look at the required production time, the production complexity, and so on. You look at lateral expansion opportunities, what's the monetization potential, and so on. We kind of took this to the absolute maximum by building a niche, like a niche navigator, we call it, which helps us to rank different niches, look at supply, demand, long-term potential, monetization, the content production cost, the niche media potential. So I think every company out there should strive to essentially be like a little media company. Your goal, if you are a company, even if you're selling something that's completely unrelated with media, right? You're selling some kind of subscription to a software, or you have some kind of coaching or agency, whatever, I don't care, but you should view your media activities as building a little media company. And so we assess the niche media potential, because you don't want to just invest money into marketing and this money is going to be gone, right? Ideally, you want to build a niche media company that's profitable by itself, that is only there to market your main offering, right? That isn't that the ideal scenario, right? Competitive landscape, audience profile, and so on. So you can check this niche navigator out if you want, but it's definitely not a necessity. from here you have a lot of parameters already that we talked about that will help you to score niches and basically decide on your positioning on YouTube, right? And all of this will be used to create your YouTube master plan. So what I would strongly suggest is that before you go onto YouTube, or maybe you already have a YouTube channel and now you're thinking about, okay, why is it not working? What can I do to make this better? Literally sit down, draw up a master plan. And we love to do this when we work with clients. We love to do this in PowerPoint, and we love to kind of nerd out on it, and it's like, in this case, it's like it was a 80-page presentation or so. But you can also just like do a one-pager, right? Just write down the most important parameters and why you believe this will work. Okay? Next, let's talk about magnet content. That is really at the core of our strategy, and that's at the core of why your YouTube channel will be successful. Let's compare magnet content with normal content. So here we have the normal content. The purpose is views first. Magnet content is cash flow first. In terms of audience, with normal content, you're focusing on little fish. Magnet content, you want the big whales. The content is usually niche. Magnet content is focused on the sub-niche. We niche much further down to really reach the right people. And in turn, in the long term, we're going to reach more people too. Because we give YouTube this ultra strong signal. Wow, the people that are watching these videos, they are super interested in it, right? The average view duration is extremely high. So these must be amazing videos. Let me show them to more people, right? That's why sub-niches are so important. Engagement on normal content is moderate. For magnet content, it's usually high. Discovery. It's funny because at the beginning, everybody was talking about SEO on YouTube. That's like 5 years ago. I mean, I've been on YouTube for like 16 years, and I know it started with SEO. So people were like manipulating titles and descriptions in order to be found on YouTube. Now, at some point, this switched to more algorithmic-based principles, where people said you need to rank with the algorithm. The algorithm literally will just look at how long people watch your video. So if they watch 90% of a 20-minute long video, that's hell of a good video, right? Whereas some people watch a 20-minute video just for like 40% or so. So obviously the 90% people who watch the 90% video, they send the signal that this video is much better, right? So the people said, okay, it's just about the algorithm. But what we do is we combine both. Because if you know exactly what you're selling, and if you don't know that, you should be bankrupt, right? So you know what you're selling. You know what keywords are important for you. And if we combine this algorithmic approach, so we make content that can go viral, that is going to be pushed by the algorithm, but we also bake in strategic keywords into your content so that we will rank on these keywords forever. So people will not only find your video because it's going to be recommended to them on their starting page when they open YouTube, they will also find it when they type for the right keywords in the YouTube search bar, or much more important, on Google, right? They search for something, for your keywords, and one of your videos will pop up right at the top. And we call it evergreen SEO because it will stay like this for the foreseeable future. So you just got yourself an asset that will stay there forever, that will generate revenue for you for the foreseeable future. The format on normal content is common. Format on magnet content is custom. and the trajectory is volatile versus steady growth with viral potential. Maybe let me explain that again, because for normal content, you can have viral outbreaks, but you can also just completely bomb and have very low view results. Whereas magnet content is going to lead to steady growth with a good so-called view floor, where we always know, okay, we get a certain minimum of views, but we have the potential for these viral outbreaks to the top. And that's exactly what we want. Right? And let's get into the meat of it. We use this neuro persuasion framework to get into the head of the customer. Now, a couple of words before we get into this funnel. The common YouTube channel strategies assume that you have fans and then you have channel newcomers. That's actually the data that YouTube gives you, right? They show you who are people who have always watched your videos and who are new people that, watched your video for the first time. But that is overly simplistic. That might be helpful for someone that just wants to build a big YouTube channel but doesn't plan to sell anything with this YouTube channel. But our primary goal is not views. Again, our primary goal is freaking revenue, right? So what do? Not everyone in your audience is equally familiar with your content and your company's product and services. Naturally, right? You will have some people who hear about you for the very first time. And then you will have some people who have already watched 10 of your videos. So they know you very well. And, right, so there's people that are just getting to know you. There's people who have watched 3 or 5 videos. There's people that are looking to buy everything your company offers, right? They are hardcore fans. So what essentially you need to do is you need to think in terms of this arrow. What is the customer thinking? The customer first is at the understanding stage, and then he gets into the trust stage. That's the neuropersuasion framework that we came up with, right? So let me explain first this customer journey, and then let me explain how we get into the customer's head. So the first stage is customer has a problem, but they don't know a solution. They literally just have a problem and they don't even know if there's a solution. Okay. Next up, they think, oh, I have this problem and I know that there is a solution. Right? For many problems in life, there's not a single solution, but also for many, there is a solution. And that's the second stage. Then the next level of awareness is that the customer realizes actually there's good and bad solutions to this problem, right? Good solutions look like this, bad ones like that. And very important, now is the right time. Because the customer might think or might know that there's a good solution to his problem, but they might not realize that now is the right time to act. And here's where you come into play. Because you should be someone who is among these good solutions. And now the customer starts building trust in your method, first of all, in you, and also many people forget that, in themselves. If they trust you and your method, but they have zero trust in themselves that they will stick to whatever you're trying to do with them, whatever problem you're trying to solve, they will not buy. And only if these 3 factors are fulfilled, we can give them the offer and it will lead to a purchase. This is the framework that will dictate all the videos we do. And this is something I've never seen that out there, to be honest. Like other YouTube approaches to selling things via YouTube are much more simplistic. But I think that's a big mistake. So you need to position your content along this arrow. Okay, so with your videos, You want to guide the viewer along this arrow to the bottom, the purchase intent. So the first two pillars should be completely disregarded. You will never sell something to a person that knows that they have a problem, but they don't know a solution. They don't even think that there's a solution. You will also not sell to people that have a problem and they know that there is a solution, right? But they can't tell good from bad ones. Why should you focus on these kind of people? We do not recommend focusing on these first two pillars, but below that, that is where we are going to drive a majority of our revenues from, right? And this requires us to do very diverse content that is addressing each one of these. So first of all, videos that help your audience differentiate good from bad solutions. Videos that help them determine the right timing. Videos that help them build trust in your methods. Videos that help them build trust in themselves. Videos that help them build trust in you, and so on. So these are the kind of videos that we want to produce. Okay? And now, you don't want to just, next, like tomorrow, don't just please upload a video why you could trust our methods, right? Or how to determine whether now is the right timing to buy our budgeting SaaS, right? No, that's not going to work. What you want to do is you want to package these core messages in viral packaging concepts. That's obviously easier said than done. The best piece of advice that I can give you there is to just be extremely active on YouTube. Look at what is going on out there, what kind of videos are performing well. Look at outliers. So what outlier videos are out there that, let's say an average, like a channel gets on average 10,000 views and then suddenly one of their video blows up and gets 1 million views. You want to ask yourself, why is this such an outlier? Why did it blow up? And how can I take this concept, even if it's a completely different video, might be a video about Barbie, and you have a SaaS helping people to, again, budget their finances, right? Or to create beautiful blog posts. I don't care. But you can take these concepts from the Barbie video that worked extremely well and try to reverse engineer them and fit them to your specific sub niche. All right? And then you make sure that whatever you do, your video is helping people move along this arrow from the top to the bottom. And the magical thing now is that YouTube will automatically play out these videos to your audience in the right order. It's not like you need to upload them in the right order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chronologically. No. You can have a pretty wild content mix. YouTube knows pretty well what video will be interesting to your audience, to the respective person after they have watched video X, right? So that's a game changer. And now the conversion systems, before we talk about the really magical thing here, which is YouTube process automation. So how to do all of this with as little work per day as possible. 1 hour per day. Conversion systems. Here we combine magnet content with so-called conversion content. So magnet content builds high reach and brand awareness. Conversion content has slightly lower reach maybe, but higher engagement. Magnet content appeals to curiosity or inspiration, whereas conversion content solves specific pain points. Magnet content can bring in cold audiences, right? So it could, for example, be here at the top of this arrow, bring in cold audiences, whereas conversion content converts warm audiences into buyers. And let's look at one of my favorite examples. This guy, Iman Gadzhi, he's I would call him a guru. Many people think negatively about him. There's a lot of people who adore him. In the end, the guy is making a lot of money with this exact method of, conversion content and magnet content. So he has multiple videos that are in some way or the other magnet content, as we would call it. And they all link to one video that is conversion content. So in these videos before that, there is no pitch, there is no offer to buy, there is no link. They're just linking to this one video, which is the conversion content video, where then the audience is sold something. Okay? And obviously this is an outlier. Iman Gadzhi, he went extremely viral. He was probably also at the wrong place, at the right place, at the wrong time, at the right time. But it's a nice illustration of this magnet and conversion content dynamic. Now, lastly, YouTube process automation. What's all of this worth if you need to spend the evenings coordinating with lots of freelancers, when you need to spend the weekends worrying if you will get your weekly upload online, if you need to hassle, if you need to pay different people, if you just spend hours every day trying to get this content uploaded, and it's literally destroying your life. That's where YouTube process automation comes into play. For us, we use this following structure, even though it might seem a little bit crazy at first. Let me explain that. On the one side, we use AI. On the other side, we use humans. And it doesn't matter if this is a talking head face channel, if it's faceless channel, or anything else. This works on every single channel. AI is used for anything that requires structure. Humans are given creative freedom. So let me go through this and just tell you our tech stack. And let me also tell you right off the bat that we use Notion to bring all of this together. Because what you don't want to have is these islands, where like everybody is using their tech and then it's very difficult to see the entire process. What you want to have is literally you want to have a dashboard where you can log in, you can see where is my content, right? Okay, this one is ready for upload. This one is just waiting for the video editor. He uploaded his most recent draft. It looks like this thing is going to be ready tomorrow, right? You want to have this exact overview, and you want these different tools and different humans to flow into each other in an integrated manner. So for ideation, we use Spotter, tools like NextLab and Video IQ. That's where we generate the bulk of our ideas, and we can partly automate this with apps like Zapier, where they take these suggestions for content ideas, place them in our Notion dashboard, and we go from there. Scripts, ChatGPT, Claude, Subscriber AI. You don't need anything else, but you might need a custom GPT. You might need the right prompts, because if you just tell ChatGPT or Claude to write a great script about topic XYZ, trust me, people are more sensitive than you think. They know that this is AI. There's a couple of words that will always give away an AI generated script. The storyline is not as good. The hook is definitely not going to be strong, because AI or ChatGPT is always going to be average, right? But for hooks, you need extraordinary. So that's where, on the other side, the humans come into play. On the human side, we have a scriptwriter and a thumbnail designer. And these work together with these tools to create amazing scripts. And also, in the scripting stage, or even before that, in the ideation stage, we want the thumbnail designer to start working. And at this point, this is all automated, right? You generate ideas for videos automatically. The thumbnail designer is someone who you want to give this person creative freedom. So they think about which one of these packaging concepts makes the most sense, comes up with thumbnail ideas themselves. The scriptwriter should also be given creative freedom. So they select the topic that they think fits them the best and that obviously has been pre-validated, so you don't have any shitty topics out there. They just start writing their thing. They do their thing. In the meanwhile, the Notion is being kept updated. So you have the script in there. You always have the most recent update. You have the package of thumbnails that have been designed by the thumbnail designer. The scriptwriter obviously sees that, so they know, okay, this is kind of the concept that we're aiming for. Now, it goes to the editing stage. On the editing side, we use Runway, ideogram.ai. We often do pictures with ideogram AI and then we animate them with Runway. That's super nice hack that works to make great visuals. Flim AI, Gling, Opus, 11 Labs. There's many more, but these are some of the most important ones. Obviously, on the human side, we have a video editor. Because we use so much AI in the editing stage and also so much AI in the scripting stage, we don't need these people to work for days and days and days. Literally 70% of the job can be done with software and AI. So sometimes we even just have a senior video editor, someone who comes in, gives this video the final polish over a day, and it's done. Same with the scriptwriter. We have so-called senior editors, script writing editors, who just go in and they take these scripts that have been generated by AI from 80% to 100%. And that's enough. That's a massive time saver. And now to tie all of this in together, you will have to use tools like Zapier, Notion for this dashboard. And it might help if there's a VA who coordinates things and who makes sure this whole process flows seamlessly from the moment that the idea is generated with one of these programs to the video is published on YouTube, right? And most of this is accomplished by strict SOPs and checklists. For example, for a script, we have noticed sometimes you have churn with scriptwriters. Now, you don't want to start explaining every new scriptwriter what needs to be in a script, right? What is kind of the strategy? So for something like this whole neuro persuasion framework, there should be a checklist that the scriptwriter looks at and they know exactly, okay, these 5 points need to be in the script in order for this to be a good script. And they can just check them off and that's it, right? SOPs, same thing. For every process, it should be clear what needs to be done. And this is something that took us at least 2 years. It was a lot of back and forth and inefficiencies, and then sometimes things happen that are extraordinary, right? That you can't account for or you wouldn't think about them. So it takes a little bit of time. But with this structure, it's possible to run a YouTube channel, whether it has 1,000 subscribers or it has 100,000 subscribers, with less than an hour per day. Because each single piece of this framework is doing its own thing. And they all come together in the Notion management dashboard, which is the only thing that you open in order to know what's the progress. So, this is the entire framework. that we use internally and with our clients. It starts with a bulletproof YouTube master plan, which by itself already guarantees that you will have success with your content on YouTube. Next, you start publishing magnet content, not just some normal content. You focus on magnet content and you combine it with conversion systems that will lead to conversions. All the while using YouTube process automation to not work hours and hours and sacrifice your personal life in order to accomplish this, but you work on this for an hour every day. We run multiple cohorts every month where we help companies build additional 20,000 revenue through their YouTube channel. It takes 12 weeks, just one channel, and it takes implementation of all of this. So essentially, we're not going to sell you some crazy secrets. It's all of this that I talked about. It just needs to be properly implemented. And that's exactly what we're doing with our clients. If you're interested in that, you know exactly where to find me. Thank you for listening to this workshop. Bye bye.